Hey everyone, let's get started. So in the last session, we had the discussion regarding how the things work from version controlling system, right? Yes. So we discussed VCS, and I said it's all about how you track your changes on projects. And like I said, this is completely from developer point of view. Right, I said I'm a developer, I'm showing you the use cases and you'll use it. And I said right is already, so why you need to observe this part is because in the image that I showed you that there is something like building, testing, releasing, deployment. So there are different features. So those features will have some uniqueness with some reference number. So you go ahead and check that part. Okay. And also I said this is like a client server model, correct? So you have like client server model. So basically here Git and GitHub are what we are using in order to test our functionality. And one more thing, guys, yes. Now in the last part we created a repository, right? We created a repository and I said for each of it you will get some unique URL. And using this as a point of connection or contact, we'll start doing the work, right? Okay. So now, so this is what we did, right? Is so in your GitHub account, slash your name slash some repository you created. Correct. Now I just did some kind of sample testing, like some sample pages, like README file I wrote, and some kind of generic content I kept, so that from the project point of view you'll understand. But actually, what I said, you'll have workstations. Every individual developer will have workstation. They are going to get the code into their local machine. Then they will start doing the application development. Okay, guys, right. So now let me demonstrate the exact same thing, right? So whatever I discussed in the last part, right? Yes. So you have any questions, you can go ahead. Yes. So before I begin with the things, any questions from what we discussed from the previous part in the last session? All right. Okay. I'm hoping everyone is good. Right. Okay. Then let's get started. So like I said, so already I have my thing created in this GitHub account. We had some specific name given for our repository also, isn't it? This is the one we created in the last session, right? 11 web app, a sample project to begin with. This was some sample page we wrote, and you see it tracked 23 hours ago, you made some change. Okay, right. Now, generally you'll not directly go and you might ask, so here only developers can write the code, right? Yes, they can write, but generally developers don't prefer to write it directly on GitHub. They'll always go into their local machines. Why? Because they have chunks of code. So in that scenario, they'll use IDs and they'll write the code actually. But we want to try to replicate it from the command line interface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch one new instance first. I'll get to my EC2 part. Here I'm going to create a new instance, which is specifically what our workstation. So this part I'm creating right now. Okay, I'll say launch instance. Select my CentOS. I'll add a new tag, guys. So name, instead of name, okay, fine. Name I'll call it as my workstation. Okay, and I'll add one more tag also. I'll say module is Git. so that I can filter. Why? Because I have so many instances running there. Regular, you can just add your SSH, that's more than sufficient. And launch our server to get started. See, I got so many instances, but I'll do the filtering based upon the module. My module is Git module, the one I added. It's being still created. Once it is up and running, then we'll get started with the work. Right, now we can see our workstation coming into the running mode. I'll select my address. It's still running, just give it some time. Then I'll show you from the development point of view, how am I going to start running the application. They'll do it locally. Maybe I'll show in some other session how they use IDs and all that part, but that's more about pure development part. I want you to first understand from the CLI part. Why? Because it will be more helpful rather than doing it in the graphical interface. Graphical interface, I'll take some separate session maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and I'll show it like how they write the code like a typical developer. There you go. Now this is my newly created machine, and you see guys, now my repository is available in GitHub, correct? This is where it is present. Now, in order to do the work, I need to get that repository, right? So there are two different ways to get the repository. One is a blank repository, empty repository, or which is already existing one. If it is existing one, we use an option called clone. If it is a new one, you will do something called like init, initialize. So if you want to get a new one, what you'll do something like this: git initialize. Okay, and your project, right? And before you do all these git related operations, right? So first you need to have git installed. Client is not installed. So first you install client. You already know we did it a lot of times earlier in the application part. This will install the client software. Right? So meaning what? Now I should be able to run the git commands. Right? Got installed. Now, once you install client, the next immediate thing you always need to do is you need to check this server with the appropriate access. Who is working on this machine? A developer, right? And developer will have some name, some uniqueness, IDs, email ID that you need to. So make sure you do always these steps first. Whenever you start with Git workstation, right? These are the things you need to do. Configuration, your username. Okay, then your email ID. Coloring options. Right, it will show you some colors. I'll show you what's the difference. So this way you are saying that I'm the one who is going to work on the projects on this machine. You're authenticating yourself literally, right? Okay. Now I said once you authenticate yourself, you need to get the repositories. I said there are two ways to get the repository. Git initialize. You see, do we have any directories right now? No, right? Initialized a empty repository. It created a directory, guys. You go ahead and do it. It does not have anything. Let me say C Java project, empty, nothing inside it. This is one way. For new creation, like a what you say, brand new repository you'll get. No, you want to get an existing one. Clone URL. You already know this option. In your web apps itself, we saw it there. Now I'm saying git clone, but not some other location in my home directory. I'm cloning it. Earlier you cloned it into var www some HTML. This is a way to get the existing repository. 11 web app. Correct? That's the file we created in the last session. My web application, the project, and all that content we added in the last session, we can see that part. So this is how you need to get the repositories, empty one or existing one. Most of the times we go ahead and get our existing ones to start doing the work with. Clear is right. Now here, one more thing I wanted to discuss was right. So once you get a repository, right, this is what public. If you're getting private, it will ask you credentials. I'll just show you. Maybe let me check if I have any private repository with me. You see, this is some private repositories. I'll just write some file like private.txt. This is a private repository. I'll just take the same link. I'll try to repeat the exact same thing. Git clone. I hope you got the difference. Public will directly get downloaded. Private, unless you don't give your user credentials, it will never be able to get the thing. So if I give some random thing, authentication failure. Got the point? You give the appropriate, if I give my username and password, then it will work. Got the point, right? Yes. So now I'm not interested in that one. We have already our public thing. So we'll go ahead and start work. That's the only difference between the public and private is. If you keep private, every time you do any operation, it's going to ask you, what do you say, credentials. Okay, now we have our project. This is the file we created. Now, I already said whenever you work with what you say version controlling, it means you are going and what you say tracking the changes in the project. How many changes we did in the last part? In the last session, there were two changes. Creating the file first time, deleting some content in the file next time. That we were able to see in the graphical interface directly with the mouse. This is the one, right? Right? Two commits. 23 hours ago. Each of the change got some reference ID and you got to. This is how you see it in the graphical interface. In the command line interface, log. Two changes, You see the IDs. You want to see when the change was done. No, sorry, here itself you can see it. Some message. You want to see what change happened at that point of time. It's like zoom in for this change. Show me. You're seeing this red color, green color, right? That's the third option I typed. Git config global color.ui true, right? It will show you colors. If not, it will show completely in the white part. You'll not know which change happened. That's what the difference is. Right. So with this, okay, you added this content and you basically removed that particular content. So till point, we have two changes on our project, and those changes from the exact same way how we did in the graphical interface, we can also see it from the command line interface also. Now your developer starts doing the work. I mean, what he'll start writing the code, right? When he is about to begin with the things, there are multiple logical areas within a repository. Yes, this is repository, correct? This 11 web app is your repository. In this repository, now let me tell what would be your solution first. Okay, this is my problem. Yes, this is my project, which is this path. That is my repo. As of now, what was the only file we have with us? Okay. Now imagine, as a part of my web application, I started creating files. Obviously, right? I'll start writing the code, creating the files and all that. Imagine right now, I wrote around 1,000 files. Just speaking. Why? Because in real time, that's what happens. You have hundreds of developers working, right? There are so many files there. Okay, guys, I have 1,000 files. Now, in this 1,000 files, imagine in my local machine, I want to isolate them. Like what? In this 1,000 files, I made some changes which are partially good, which are perfectly good, which are not touched at all. Are you getting the logic, guys? Out of these 1,000 files, there are some files I did not touch at all. Out of 1,000 files, let's imagine some 400 or 500 files I did not touch only. They're just like that. Some, 300 files, partially I changed. Remaining files, I perfectly changed. Now, out of those 1,000 files, can you let me know like what are the things that were never touched? Are things that were partially changed? Are things which were finalized? No. Why? Because everything is there in the same part. If not, you need to create directories. Make directory not touched at all, make directory partially changed, make directory completed, and need to keep on moving the things. Instead of doing all that headache work, Git has given you something called like workflow. Git workflow. What happens in that workflow? You have been given 3 logical areas. Physically, we can't see them. Like they are not directories and everything, but we know they exist. We call them as working copy, staging copy, local copy. Three different areas. Whenever you initially get the files, right, they will be in the working copy. Got the point? Yes, I did clone, right? Now I am in working copy. Okay. Whenever you do any tweak, the file is modified in the working copy logically. Yes, physical location is this one. 11 web app is a physical part, but logically, internally things get changed. Added some new change. Then that will be in the working copy. Okay. The changes which you did in the working copy are never finalized. Okay, I hope you got the point. They are not finalized. They are what do you say, intermediate changes. So whatever the change you made, right? Imagine that you had multiple files. You did few changes which you are not sure about. Few changes you are partially sure they will work. Damn sure these changes are going to work. What you are going to do, guys? These changes, right? You will keep them in different places. Okay, let's use some color coding so that you will also get. Okay. Partial changes, I'll keep it in orange code. As damn sure, I'll keep them green so that we indicate that they are good to go. Okay. Now, staging copy is orange, local copy is green. What you can do is the changes which you want. See, initially you will be doing the changes in the working copy only, but you think this is partially good, right? You will move them to this place, staging copy or staging area also we can call. How you do that? We have commands. We got a command called as git add. Did you get the point, guys? When you do this part, git add what? File. I hope you are getting it. This content will be writing some file only, right? End of the day. Git add your file. Whatever the file you are going in doing. When you do this operation, this partial change it will be here. I hope you got the point, guys. Clear? So you will go ahead and you will move it into staging copy. Which one? The things which you think are working. So this one also you said these changes are good, right? Obviously, this will also be there where staging copy. Now, if you think that whatever the partial changes you made, they are 100% working. From staging, you'll keep them into local copy. So that operation is called committing the changes, finalizing the changes. How you do it? Again, you got the command. Commit some message. Like in the last session, it was asking you in the bottom of the page, some message, commit message. That is a commit message, -m. Which file? Then this change which is finalized, right? For this particular change, the reference IDs are going to be generated. Commit ID. Just for timing, I just kept something random. This is what happens. So whenever you work, you'll have local copy, staging copy, and what is a working copy. Working copy is where you begin with. If changes are good, you'll stage them. And if you are, finalized with the changes, you will do commit. And when you do the commit, you will get the reference. That's when the history gets updated. If you get confused, guys, there is very simple way to remember the Git workflow. Take your Amazon site as an example. In your Amazon site, you'll have hundreds of products. Product 1, product 2, product 3. Whenever you want to purchase, you'll not directly go and purchase everything. You have something called cart. Purpose of cart, if you want something, you'll add it into the cart, but it does not mean it's finalized. If you don't want, you can put it back, right? Same concept. You did some change, partial change, you can get it back if you don't want. Same concept. Now you might added whatever the things you want into the cart. Maybe you added this too. Does that mean that you purchased both the products? It's your choice. If you don't want, you can again take back this P2 and you'll put it back. That's the same thing for staging. In staging, if you want, you keep it. If you don't want, you can, if you are good with the changes, you finalize it. If you don't want, you can get it back to your working copy once again, so that you can again go ahead and start doing the changes. Once it's finalized, you'll just go ahead and keep it inside your what? So once you do the payment for what? Your product called P1, this is when it gets confirmed. So when the confirmation happens, what you will get from Amazon? Once you purchased a product, payment, everything is done, right? What you will get from? You'll get what? Right. What that message contains? An order ID will be coming up. What is the purpose of that order ID? Whenever you want to speak to the customer care, or let's say if your shipment got delayed, or if you want to do some address change, you'll use that as a reference ID. Same way, I'll use my commit ID to go ahead and make sure if my history at this point of time, how it looked, is it really functioning, what was the problem, who made the problem, everything I'll be able to check with that commit ID. You got the point, is everyone clear with this? Git workflow, you remember in this way, easily you can recollect the things like this, right? You got working copy, staging copy, local copy. Got it? Now let's go ahead and see all of them in action. So you might have a question. How to know in which area I'm present? So I said there are 3 logical areas, correct? Right? Working, staging, and local copy. So how to know which area I'm present? You got the following command, right? Very widely used command. Status. It says on branch main. I'll talk about branches in the next session, later in the next class maybe. It says nothing to commit. Why? Because there is nothing changed. That's the reason why it's saying like working directory is clean. Are you getting the point, guys? Yes, in fact, there is no change. So, I'm opening this file. I added one line, right? Content got changed. You agree? It started tracking, saying you modified something. Are you getting the point, guys? And you see it says now, changes are not staged. Use git add to update what will be committed, meaning nothing but it will be staged. And I said, if you don't want, you can discard them. We'll see all these undoing later. Let's finalize, then later we will do undo part. Don't worry about undoing the things. We'll discuss a separate session for undoing. But as of now, you see what it says. No changes added to commit. Use add command or commit -a command to go with. I'll do the exact same thing, guys. Now what I'm going to do is, and also one more way you can easily check the things is red color indicates basically you are in the working copy. Now I'm good with the changes. What changes? The line called Angular. I'm good with this change. So what I'll do is add, what file I need to add? Not Angular, the file, yes. You cannot add content. So where you change the content, that file you update. Got the point, yes? Right. It became green, indicates you are in the staging area now. That's the reason why it says what? To be committed or unstaged. Got the point? That is also undoing. Like I said, we'll keep it separate. Now I'm pretty sure that I need these changes. That's when I need to commit them. I did the exact same command which I showed you guys. Add file name. Now I'm going to commit it. Same command. Earlier, how many changes were there? 2 changes. Status says I need to commit. -m message. What did I add? Some meaningful messages so that when someone sees history, they'll know, okay, this person, this change. Got the point, right? It's just a meaningful message. That's all. You can keep any message you want. Which file? Got the point is? One file changed. It has given some number. Why? Because you finalized it. Commit ID. What it is saying? Don't worry about this part, but you see, meaning whatever the change we did, it is finalized and it got updated. Now, third change is identified. with a unique reference ID, commit ID, some message, and who did that change when he did that change. And also the best thing is what I got the commit ID. I added a new line called as Angular. This is how the development goes, guys, throughout their phase. They'll add, they'll go ahead, commit, and then references will be generated. This just keeps on going as long as your development flow exists. Clear, guys? I hope you got the point. Now, the thing here is, when I showed you Git status, don't get confused, very simple logic. This is where we got the thing, right? Earlier, how many commits were there in this place? 2, right? How you can verify? GitHub, we have 2 commits. That's what it is saying. Isn't this local? This machine, the AWS EC2 instance. How many commits you are having here? 3. It's saying your branch is ahead of 1 commit. So this local one is 1 step ahead of your server. You got the point, guys? Why? Because developer updated the change in his local machine. How can we confirm? I'll go here. Can I see anything Angular? It says only React, the old stuff which we saw in the last part. You see, the last update was yesterday, 23 hours ago, right? That's what our change was. We did that change in the last session, yesterday's class. Now it is saying, if you want to match your local with remote. So generally the word we use for this entity, right? It's called as remote, like generic term. And this thing we call it as local. Now you want to update your local to match your remote, right? Then you use the command called as push. I hope you got the logic, guys. This is local. From this, if you zoom out, it becomes a little bit smaller. Then later what? Sorry. Here only you have all this. Working, staging, local, then remote. So how you move is, just a second. These arrows will help you understand a little bit better. Right. Working to staging, staging to local, local to remote. Clear, guys? I hope you got the point. Okay, right. Good, everyone, with this. Now, whenever I use push, it will ask credentials. Why? Because you're writing on the server, right? So obviously, reading you can do, no problem, public, but private, sorry, even though it is public, if you want to write, you need to have access tokens generated, like passwords. I hope you got the logic. Pretty simple. How you do that is, okay, let me clear this screen. I'll not do push yet. Why? Because I need credentials. Obviously, it's going to ask me credentials. So first I'll show you how to generate. So this got recently updated. Yes, earlier we used to have directly passwords only, but recently we got all these updates. Okay. Go here, click on your username, click on settings, developer settings, personal access tokens. You need to create them. You click on generate, you'll get them. It will ask you your account password. First give your account password. So it is asking you some node. For timing, I'll call it for my EC2. Why? Because I'm working with it. So you can give any name you want. Expiration date, no expiry, 1 week. You can set whatever you want. I'm just keeping for 30 days, meaning those tokens will be accessible only for 30 days. So for my entire repo, I want to give it. So all public repo, invite, entry, everything, I want to give it on my hard disk and just say generate token. That is my token to update the changes. Okay, so I'll just copy it. Now I'll come back. Which command I'm supposed to go with now? Push. Username. We already saw like the username in the last session also while creating your accounts. Now saying password, right? That password is nothing but this one only. You copy this, update. Now it said comparing and pushing the changes. Now I'll use git status. You're no longer seeing that message saying you are one commit ahead. Reason because refresh your page. 8 minutes ago, some change happened. Angular. Now you got 3 commits. Now both your remote and local, they got matched. Do you get the logic, guys, everyone? Yes, I hope everyone in online as well. Just a second, let me unmute. Okay. So clear, guys, everyone, what we tried to achieve. So we went, and like I said, as a developer, I went, made the changes, I tracked them, I updated them, I committed them, and then later I pushed them. So these are the operations that you do as a part of your Git workflow. Right? Yes. Okay. Any questions, guys, on this part? Yes, you can go ahead one by one.
Hi, Ravi. So instead of giving the access token, can we not give the password for our account?
No, this got recently updated. Passwords were disabled from August 20th, last month onwards. Earlier it used to work, but now it's no longer functioning. There is no concept of password now.
Okay. Cheers.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, basically git push origin master by using this command also we can push the changes into the remote repository. So
All right, but those are all like outdated things. Like outdated in the sense like just like 2 months, 3 months ago they used to work, but now things got a little bit changed. So
okay.
That master branch and everything, they renamed it to main. So a lot of changes happened.
Okay, sir.
The only difference is the naming convention got changed and the way the implementation got a little bit different. That's it. But almost everything is same.
Okay.
Right?
So you mean it is the latest change, right, sir?
Correct. Yes. So we'll see that part also. Like I'll try to manually create some branches in the next session. I'll show that so that you'll understand. Okay, what is this origin master and all those things.
Okay. Thank you.
So can we use Git bash to upload to update repositories like these things?
Yes, of course. Why? Because they're also same commands. There is no change in the command point. Okay, you'll do exactly same thing, but you're doing it in your local machine. That's the only difference.
Okay.
right? Yeah. So whatever I did, right, you can do it in your Git bash, no problem. All right. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Everyone clear with this part? Git workflow, all good? Now, I'll show it in a little bit different approach this time. Imagine right now, we had only one developer involved on all these steps. One developer, one remote part, he went and he worked. Now, I want someone else to participate in this. Are you getting the point? Other developer to involve so that we can collaborate and we work, right? Generally, that's what we do, right? Okay. Anyone created GitHub account in the last session in the online part?
Yes, Ravi.
Yes, Ravi, I have.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, just a second. Yes. Okay. Let me just see. You see, there is an option called settings. Manage access. I haven't added any other developer as a part of the project here. Okay. Now what I can do is actually, maybe Deepti, you can just tell me your ID of your GitHub account.
You mean username?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, DIPTEE. 657.
Now you see, she's like you guys, she just created an account. Now I'm going to invite her to this project. Now she will get an invite. So I'll just copy that and I'll keep it in the window. Yeah, just a second. I'll stop sharing. You connected via system only, Aditi? Are you connected via mobile?
Connected by system.
System. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I just sent you one invite. I want you to share the screen and see how the other developer sees it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I send the invitation. Yeah, let me. Then she will make the changes to my account and she will publish. Then I'll show you how the collaboration goes. Like there are multiple developers working on the project, right? So obviously this is how the things will start working with. Yeah, once you're ready, you can share your screen, Aditi. Yep. You see guys, that's how she'll get, like your typical Instagram or Twitter you see, right? Same way she got a request from my end. Now, if she is good, she will accept it. Now she is part of this project. She will exactly repeat the same procedure to go ahead and update the changes. And now instead of again going and launching the instance and doing all that work, I want you to imagine that she did the change in her local machine, she pushed the changes. We will simulate exactly same thing. I want you to add a new file there, Deepti, like you see there, add new file, create new file. Let's call it as index.html. Yeah, let's keep it in the lowercase letters, I also. Just add some content in the page like file uploaded by your name. I'm just writing file uploaded, but generally in real time code will be there. That's it. That's the only difference. Yeah, now you can go ahead and just scroll down. That's your commit message. Not that one, that box, the first box, the above box. Create index file is there, right? Yes, there you say something like create index page. That's our message. Yeah, now you can go ahead and commit the change. Now she added the change. I hope you got the point, guys. Got it? Now what I'll do, yeah, you can, what do you say? Stop sharing Deepthi once. I'll get back to my account now. You see, guys? Now I'm getting back to my repository. You see what happened? I can see the updated change. And you see 4 commits. 37 seconds ago, you can see here, this, what do you say, person made the changes. What changes she did? A reference ID was generated, commit ID. She created a file with the content called as file uploaded. Now this is what remote. So both of them, I'm like, sorry, me and she can see the changes. But if I get into my local machine, am I seeing that file? I want you to understand. So she is like right now, her machine. Imagine she added some new change. 4th commit. So this became 3rd commit, like once you do that push. She added 4th commit. She committed this. Now, I want to need to make some changes. This is push. Opposite, pull. If you have changes on the remote, you want to get it into your local, then you need to do what? Pull operation. See right now, can I see that file? See the log? Now one more thing is, you see log is becoming very bigger and what do you say, uncomfortable to read, right? You have one option, shortcut. In a simple way. Instead of showing the time and everything, right? You will easily get the things. But now I'm going to pull. So what happens, you know, the changes she made, right? I'm going to get it into my local path. It got something like calculated that there were changes, and it went and it fetched those changes. And we can see the file called index was updated here. I got 4th commit. I want to see who made this change. I'll take the reference ID. I'll keep it there, and we can see she's the one who made that particular change. And with that part, this is the content that was added. Now you understood, guys, everyone? Clear? Any questions on this part, guys? So this is how the model works with. Good. Any questions, guys, from this part now? Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Yeah, what is the difference between git clone and git pull?
Clone will get the entire repository.
Okay, fine.
Pull will only get the latest updates.
Okay, thank you.
Right? Yes.
So we have the git update also, right? So this will do also the same thing.
Yes. Why? Because depending upon the version, yes. So that's what it is. There are multiple commands to do the same work, but the most classic way of doing is git pull. Right? Yes.
Ravi, if you want to push multiple files, then in that case,
See, only one change was there, right? So I already said pull is anything that is, what do you say, finalized. So when you say pull, it will get all the changes, like not one change. So if there are 10 changes, it will pull 10 changes in one go. Why? Because these are finalized operations. Right? Okay. Then we have one more question. Can you tell me the difference between status and check? Okay, log and status. See, log means basically the history part right now. Yeah, Yasmin. So here, when I say log, right, it is telling you the entire history. So till this point of time, you made these many changes. It's your entire history. Whereas status is with respect to what you are currently doing. Everything is clean, no changes. I went and I added some content. Added some HTML structure there, some code. Now, if I use log, I'll never know that what I did there. It was already committed history. Whereas status will tell you what you currently did on the project. That's what the difference is. Hope you got the points. Right? Now same thing is, if I'm good with these changes, again, same logic, add, commit, push the changes. Now that file will be replaced. So if I'm really good with this, I'm going to add this change and I'm going to say, I'm really good with this part. I'll say update index with proper structure, or let's say it went in, updated the changes. Now if I get back, there you go, 20 seconds ago. If I check my index page, now 2 of the contributors for this project. So one who owns this repository and another one who joined as a collaborator for this project. Clear is? Good. So this is what you need to know about Git workflow. Then there are next things about something called like branches and all these things. That is also very interesting part. And for DevOps people, that is the most important thing. What we are going to see in the next session. What is branches, how they work. That is what you as a DevOps engineer need to be having thorough information with. Okay. All right. So I hope this part is good, guys, everyone. So the Git workflow, you understood how the changes happen, how this collaboration goes with. In the next session, we'll go ahead and we'll start with something called like branches, and you'll understand why branches and why they are important for the DevOps person. Right? Okay.
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the developer will give the complete source code after the push. Then we will pull the complete code and we will do our operations and get back to the repository, right?
Correct. So we will not even get to the repository actually going. Like kind of what happens is you just extend the same thing, almost like they will make the changes. So you as a DevOps person, when there are changes, you are supposed to pull the changes. Then you will go with the process, like whether you want to do the compilation, building, testing, all those process needs to be implemented next. So now you understood these commands, right? These commands you will feed it to tool like Jenkins later. Like in the said last session, we'll have automation tool, right? Like CI/CD, Jenkins. All these commands, they will not run by themselves. You see, I did them manually, correct? I went and I ran it. So you will feed these commands into some system so that it will do it on behalf of you.
Okay, okay.
Sir, is any command is available to know the difference between the commit history? For example, we have different commit IDs. For example,
Yes.
I want to know about the difference between that respective commit IDs history.
Correct. You have something called like diff command.
Okay.
Like how you have show command. You say git log hyphen one line. git diff this change dot dot this change. From that commit to this commit, you added a line called as Angular.
Okay.
Right? You can do it for across like commits, branches. You can do it for anything you want. Even for the branches also. Like we did not discuss branches, but in the next class we'll see. You can say this branch to this branch. What are the differences? Also, we can check the same command.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, Vinod, you can use same token. So token is one-time generated. Right? If you copy and paste it, you can always use the same token. There is also another way. Also, just remind me in the next class. You can avoid passwords like this tokens. It is asking you, right? You can avoid that, and you can directly update the changes. We have something called like SSH based authentication. We saw in server, right? EC2 instances. You directly give your keys, and via keys you can do that, right? The same thing can be done for Git also. Just remind me when we start tomorrow. I'll just show you that part as well, so that it will never ask again passwords each and every time. Got it? Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's it, guys. So this is what today we learned from Git. So you understood proper way of how Git repositories work and what is the workflow. So let's get started with something called like branches in the next batch. Okay. Right. Chalo. See you guys in it.